Enoch and Eli Vanto. They're two characters that are certainly paralleled in many different ways, and they are significant, just like they're both mysterious, in a way where the story of one ends, another begins. Welcome back everyone to another tremendous Star Wars theory, one that will not only put pieces together, but perhaps create even new theories beyond that. When I think of characters in Star Wars that have had a limited story, ones that I'm excited to learn about, I often find myself taking my theories back to Star Wars Rebels. But whether it's talking about the world between worlds, the character the Bendu, Ahsoka's transformation, and that list certainly goes on. But one character I think is a launching platform for others came via the conduit known as Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now no, this isn't a Thrawn video per se, but it does draw on his time, the people he surrounded himself with, both before his disappearance and after his reappearance on Peridea. Now during Thrawn's initial ascent into the Empire, he leaned heavily on an ensign known as Eli Vanto. Briefly, Eli Vanto was a data analyst from the Outer Rim, one who was linked to Thrawn from the outset of Thrawn's discovery through the language of Cybisti. This language was one that was shared by both the Outer Rim people and the Chiss in the unknown regions. So naturally, Eli went on to serve as a translator, albeit against his will, and then grew into more of an assistant, a right-hand man sort of for Thrawn. In fact, during their time together in the Empire, during Thrawn's ascent, you'd be hard-pressed not to find Thrawn with Eli Vanto. Now Eli's end with Thrawn ends in mystery. At the end of Eli's story so far, he decides to defect to the Chiss Ascendancy, to aid Thrawn's people and their cause. And now at this juncture, we're still in the timeline before the Battle of Yavin, where Luke destroys the first Death Star. So after this, very little is actually known with regards to the fate of Eli Vanto. Did he fare well with the Chiss? Did he move back up the ranks? Or did he die of some sort of other fate? What really happened? Well, that's where things become interesting because in enters Captain Enoch, Thrawn's top running official aboard the Chimera, at least during the timeline close to his disappearance on Peridea. Now we meet Enoch for the first time in the Ahsoka series, and there he's clearly commanding Thrawn's guard.
You're certain there's only the one starship?
Correct, Grand Admiral. Our fighters have already engaged the target and pursued them into the debris field.
Excellent, and have them stand by.
His face is encapsulated by a golden mold of the face of a fierce warrior, and that's important to note here, but in the meantime, hold this question in your mind. To your knowledge, who does Thrawn trust outside of Eli? And historically, who has Thrawn considered to be a friend? Now, with that question in mind, let us move forward with our theory here, linking together Eli Vanto and Captain Enoch. There are a lot of reasons as to why this theory wouldn't work. How would Eli go to Peridea? Why would Eli go to Peridea? And how did he go from a data analyst to a fearsome warrior? Well, for this theory, I think it's plausible to say Eli would actually go to great lengths to help Thrawn. Given Eli's strong sense of loyalty and his desire for purpose beyond his previous life as a data analyst, it makes sense that he would seek out an opportunity to support Thrawn, even if it meant venturing into the unknown. During the Thrawn novel, it's very clear that Eli truly valued Thrawn, and the Chiss valued loyalty. In addition, the Chiss also had experience in unknown space and wild space, and it's possible that the Chiss have an unknown technology that could help Eli get to Peridea. I think it's reasonable that a few things happen here to move Eli to Peridea. First, Eli goes to Peridea on a sort of rescue mission for Thrawn, right? Because the Chiss have always kind of been listening on the known galaxy. They've just been cloaked in the shadows. So upon his arrival, one of two things in my mind happen. Either Eli is stranded with Thrawn, and in my mind I could see the Chiss not sending a follow-up team due to perhaps a new war happening with the Chiss and the Grisk, their mortal enemy, or Thrawn elects to stay on Peridea. Now I think he would elect to stay for a few reasons, namely he knew that he couldn't rival Vader and Palpatine. And now that he found Force-sensitive, desperate Night Sisters, he figured this would be his best chance to usurp the power of Vader and Palpatine later on, maybe at a weaker point. But as he discovered the future with the Night Sisters, the magic of Peridea, he instead waited for the foretold falling of Vader and Palpatine, which is eventually what happens. He does return after their fall. So now that we've established a timeline where Eli could go to Peridea, for those of you that may have forgotten, Eli is a trained soldier, as he did complete the Imperial Academy and did go on missions, clearly using his blaster and his prowess with Thrawn. His experiences with Thrawn and the Chiss likely sharpened his tactical skills, preparing him for a leadership role in battle. So Eli's transition from data analyst to a commander align with the themes of growth and sacrifice prevalent in Star Wars. So in my theory where Eli Vanto goes to Peridea, Thrawn may have actually anointed Eli to lead the remaining garrison, right? Because at that point, in the hunt for survival, you probably need a little bit less analytics and a little bit more battle tactics. Now, how does this theory gain depth and move away from being a silly plug-and-play? Well, during some research about Enoch, I discovered something important about the symbolism behind his mask that's very important to our theory today. According to some online research, Captain Enoch's gold mask draws influence from multiple sources, but for this, we're going to be focusing on the biblical and mythological reference. His name, Enoch, is likely inspired by biblical figures who were said to have been taken by God rather than experience death. In terms of Eli, while maybe not necessarily deemed some sort of god, he was certainly handpicked by Thrawn to not only lead Thrawn out of exile, but to also lead Thrawn to the throne. Now this actually adds up because Eli was, I'll use the word fanatical, to defect to the Chiss. Whatever Thrawn showed him off screen, whatever dire future awaits the galaxy, it was enough for Eli to sacrifice the chance to see his family again, leaving his culture behind, the people of his galaxy behind, all to aid in Thrawn's mission. So it's not far-fetched that in essence, this is really what happened. Thrawn saves Eli from a life of mediocrity, being a measly data analyst in the Outer Rim over shipping and trade, to becoming the most trusted general of the soon-to-be Emperor and peacebringer of a new galaxy. That to me, when thinking of Thrawn's confidants, really screamed, Eli Vanto is Enoch. That's who's behind the mask. Eli is the one who made the most sacrifices to Thrawn, and becoming Enoch was a reward for his loyalty. Now, to kind of throw a wrench into my own plans, this could very well be other people. It could be that Enoch earned the trust of Thrawn very much so while their daring times in Peridea, being not only ruthless in his approach to survive, but also in his efficiency, the two things that truly speak to Thrawn's mind. Remember, they were gone for 10 years, and you can even see the tatters of Thrawn's uniforms, the rips, the dirt, when we see him again. Those 10 years were a lifetime, and probably longer for them, being that they may have been stranded instead of electing to have stayed. That 10 years might be longer than the most stressful of marriages even. Now, besides Captain Enoch being an original character, or it being Eli Vanto, it could also be another Chiss. A huge plot twist could be that it's Admiral Arlani, a Chiss that Thrawn was very close to before he defected. But an even greater option, what if it's Thrawn's brother, Thras? While Thrawn had other allies like Admiral Arlani, Eli Vanto's deep-rooted loyalty and unique skill set as a data analyst turned partial warrior and leader set him apart. Thrawn's values not just intelligence, but also unwavering commitment, which Eli demonstrated by leaving his old life behind to serve Thrawn and his empire, the Chiss. That level of sacrifice and trust could very well position Eli as the ideal candidate for the identity of Enoch, especially given their history together. But again, there's so many possibilities here. But my favorite theory would be the return and ruthless transformation of Eli. From reluctant data guy to ruthless right-hand man, seeing the hopeful ascent and survival, of course, of Thrawn to Palpatine's throne. So guys, that's it for today's theory. I hope you enjoy this one. But guys, before you go, I want to know, what do you think about this wild theory linking Eli Vanto to the identity of Enoch? Is it the right amount of crazy? And what other ideas do you have about the fate of Eli and the beginning of Enoch? That's it for today, guys, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next time, stay safe, and may the Force be with you, always.